is the Conservative Colonel Podcast with Harrison Dawes, where one man stands against the rising tide of liberalism. This officer in the battle to preserve our nation is the Conservative Colonel.
Nothing ends here. Our hopes and our journeys continue.
And here's Harrison Dawes.
Coming to you live from the great state of Mississippi. Welcome back to the Conservative Colonel Podcast. I'm your host, Harrison Dawes, and I'm joined by our illustrious co-host, Graves Baker. How is
Hello,
everybody doing? Hello, America. I'm trying to make taglines for us. You know, every good podcast.
Maybe that's the one.
Yeah. I used to say, coming to you from Wayne County, but I think I'm going to switch it to coming to you from the great state of Mississippi. And, of course, I already got the outro. I love the outro. But all I want to say to start off this episode is 157.16 versus 100.98. Graves, do you know what that is?
Oh, my. I didn't know you were going to just start it off with roasting me. So you ended my undefeated season in football, fantasy football, and I got my stuff kicked in. So,
if there's one thing I take seriously, it is Ole Miss football in my fantasy league, in a league that we have nicknamed the Misfits. Fun fact, this actually came about, and I don't know if I've ever told you why we made this league, Graves. We did it during 2020 when all the craziness was happening in pro football, and we couldn't find a way to enjoy it. So we decided to basically make up a league of our own teams to help us enjoy it again because we missed it. I've been boycotting football for a while, and this was my way back. So the Mississippi Avengers, which is my team, beat the Horn Lake Huskies, ruining their dream at a perfect season. And that's not even the worst part. You have two injured players. Lamar Jackson is injured, and Warren is injured.
and I accidentally started Warren.
I didn't notice that. That probably saved my bacon.
I got 0 points from him.
I'm hoping Justin doesn't realize his quarterback is on a bye week this week, or I might actually lose against the worst team in the league after beating the best team in the league, which is the perfect description of the Mississippi Avengers this season.
But Ole Miss used to be.
Yeah, no, I was alive during those Ole Miss years. So I tell everybody, they're all going crazy that we're number 4. And I'm like, yeah, y'all weren't here during the rough years after Eli.
We've been number 4 before, too.
Yeah. It doesn't end well. The cycle of being an Ole Miss Rebel is we do good, we get our hopes up, our hopes get crushed, and we get beaten by either a team that we should get beaten by or a team that we shouldn't get beat by, and the cycle then repeats itself. Yep. It's a full-on cycle. I have been an Ole Miss Rebel since I could walk. First time I went to the Grove, I was 2. So I have been an Ole Miss fan for 24 years.
Same.
And so I'm used to the Ole Miss Rebels getting beat. So I'm very hopeful for the season, but you can ask Seth, a mutual friend of ours. I know he's watching this or listening to this. I love trash talk. When I played basketball in high school, I was probably the worst player you've ever seen, Graves. But I talked like I was Michael Jordan. And that was just that. I had to start off the episode letting everybody know because we left them off on a cliffhanger last week. We hadn't none of our players had played when we recorded last week's episode. So I had to give everybody an update. October 2nd, Thursday, 2025, I have beaten Graves in fantasy football.
did not go well.
Yeah, no, if it makes you feel better, my two best players are out too, and it is crushing. And one of the top players in the league is only putting up like 12 points for me a game. So if that makes you feel better, yeah, it's been rough. But let's go ahead and do all the normal stuff so we can get in the topic and make sure I don't bully Graves too long on the show. Of course, please make sure to check out conservativekernel.com. That's our website. And we release a new episode every Thursday. Graves, this is the second week in a row we've stayed on schedule. It's only taking us 2 years to somewhat get a schedule down for the show. But you can check us out.
Keep the momentum.
Got to keep the momentum. You can check us out on our main platform, Spreaker, but we're also on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Amazon Music, and Audible, Cashbox, Deezer, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, Listen Notes, and Good Pods. And the video format of the show releases every Wednesday on YouTube. So, yeah, please leave us a 5-star review and share these episodes out as we try to get this show really going. But speaking of which, yeah, in November will be our 2-year anniversary of the show. We have been doing this for 2 years officially in November.
Well, we're going to have a big celebration. We're going to need a lot of people to buy merch.
Yeah, I do need to get us merch. I have us merch. It's very expensive merch, and I'm still trying to find a better place. Hopefully, we'll find that better place in time for November, and I will encourage everybody to buy merch then. Because I do think we have a guest lined up for November too. So I'm not going.
The one you were telling me about.
Yeah. She is extremely interested in coming on the show. That's all I'm going to say right now. I know she might be listening. I'm not going to corner you up. Don't worry. I'm not that mean. We still haven't talked yet. But last time we did talk, she was interested. I'm going to go on her show. She's going to come on ours, and hopefully that will be a nice big episode, and looking forward to it. Again, it'll probably be sometime in November, probably not on the exact anniversary date, just whenever our schedules align. And I'm just going to kind of bring her on. I also have another person I'm interested in bringing on as a guest that will probably get us canceled, Graves. This one it's going to be a hot topic. I'll have to talk to you about it after the show because it has a very high resolution of getting us. Like, there's a 99% chance we get canceled again. Graves hasn't been canceled yet on the show. I have, episode 25. So go check. I have been canceled before. I know Graves has, but I don't think he's been canceled because of the show yet. So Graves, buckle up your seatbelt because that one's going to be interesting.
It means I need to get more mean, which I promise you I will be today.
So yeah, no. Now that we've kind of gotten everything out of the way, we had some fun. There's probably just going to be one topic today, because it is a pretty big topic, and it's making a lot of news, and there's a lot of misinformation going around here. And one of the reasons we started this podcast was to fight the misinformation given to us by the left, or just legacy media, as well as champion the conservative movement. So let's talk about the government shutdown, Graves.
Yeah, the biggest issue to me is what people are saying about it. Look, it's one thing to just like blame the other side for a government shutdown, but this one just makes no sense at all, because everybody that has a brain or knows a single thing about the United States government, you cannot pass a spending bill without 60 votes in the Senate. We have 53 Republicans, and a lot of things that Democrat supporters, not their people that are in charge, but their supporters are saying is, well, in 2013, Donald Trump said that a president is weak if a government shutdown happens because he can't control his party. 52 of 53 senators in the Republican side voted for this. Only one did not. He voted no. He didn't just abstain. 2 Democrats joined us. So we had, three. So we had 55 votes. We needed 5 more. You can't blame this on the Republican Party or Donald Trump and use his own quote when in reality, all we needed was 8 Democrats to vote and the government would have stayed open.
Yeah, and my favorite thing that's going around, and because I do know a lot of people, will target certain people during this time. I know one Republican, I think off the top of my head, is getting targeted. I understand his position. He's more of just, we need to balance the budget for the love of all that is holy. Please balance the budget. And liberals are mostly just, let's spend money because if we can print it, we can do it, which is, oh, Graves, let's not even get started on the
Well, and
debt.
we know that the current bill is not, it was already passed. They passed it for a couple of months. They're revisiting it. Now the Democrats are demanding $1.5 trillion for illegal immigrants Medicaid. But the bill, even without that, is not balancing the budget. So even then, the Republicans have already not done their job in a way.
Yeah, and so like I will say that a lot of rhinos, as me and Graves know, sadly that's the majority of the people representing us. That's why another reason we started this podcast is to call them out on that crap. I've always told people, I am a member of the conservative movement. I'm not a member of the Republican Party, if that makes sense. Yes, I vote with the Republican Party because that's really the only party that will actually every once in a while put up an actual conservative. But, we have been sadly infiltrated. And, I know one Republican, I can't remember his name right now, is just like, I'm not voting for anything until we balance the budget, and he's dying on that hill. And I give him all the credit
Is
in the
that
world.
Thomas Massey?
Yeah, Thomas is a Jeffersonian, so he's 100% kind of like me, where he's like, you know what, I'm not going to say yes to anything until we actually come up with a plan to balance the budget. I respect him for that. At least he's trying to balance the budget. The Democrats, though, they're not dying on a moral hill of their beliefs. They're dying on a hill to fund illegal immigrants.
Literally. I mean, that is the only reason this is happening.
Yeah. So, like, the government shutdown, first off, I do believe that a federal government shutdown shouldn't affect us as much as it does. But that's an issue for another time. Hooray for limited government. But it's the fact that they're dying on this. Then trying to blame Republicans. Like, I know one of the Democrats in Mississippi posted a picture, and it showed like the lack of Republicans at the Capitol for these hearings, because the Republicans are also going to stand tall on the fact that we're not here to fund illegal government or illegal immigrants. But it's more than that. They're also wanting to undo some of the DOGE changes, if I remember correctly. So the Democrats,
that wasn't the only thing, but
yeah, it's not the only thing, but like the main one is they're wanting a couple trillion, just a couple trillion. Grace, do you think me and you will ever see a couple trillion in our lifetime?
dude, I'm just hoping that one day that I accumulate $1 million in my entire lifetime.
Yeah, no, I don't know if I'll make it to 1 million at this rate. I haven't even gotten to 6 digits right now. So I'm just hoping.
And they're talking about let's just in one day throw out $1.5 trillion that we don't have.
Yeah, it's genius, ain't it? We're in debt. We're having to borrow money. We're having to print more money. And their solution to our debt crisis is not a balanced budget. It's not cutting government spending. It's let's spend more, but let's not even spend more on actual citizens. Let's spend more on people who decided to come to this country illegally. It's genius. It has to work. This shutdown.
And I'll remind everyone that the Democrats for years, and if you're a liberal and you don't want to believe this, doesn't matter. Facts, reality is what it is. Democrats for years have said they want to give mass amnesty to every single illegal that is here. Now they're still trying to fund their Medicaid after we cut it out. They're saying we're taking away your health care. We're not. They're trying to import voters because their message does not win. They have no policy. It is, I hate Trump and I hate Republicans. Spend money, bring illegals in, give them rights to vote so we have power forever.
Yeah, no, and that's all they want. They're wanting to get the illegal vote, which is so funny to say. Because I think New York is even giving out ID cards now to fight against, IDing voters. And it's just like, no name is on. Like, I've seen an actual picture of an ID that says no name. And they're thinking
New
that's
York
going
state
to hit
law
them.
has created where now if you're an illegal and you need emergency medical service, you're covered through Medicaid under New York state law. So when they also tell you that illegals don't get it, it's in the bill and it's also in their state laws.
It's genius, ain't it? It's just like, let's spend more money to make sure we never have. And this is what they're wanting. They're wanting total control of the government, of course, to make sure that they never lose power, because power is corrupting. I don't know if a single person that's been able to say, I think I need to stay in power longer, and be honest about it. You look at George Washington, for instance, who knew that, who, even though people were begging for a third term, George Washington said, no, I'm only going to serve 2. And it set a precedent. And it's so funny that, after we had the first president serve more than 2 terms, we passed a law, an amendment, saying, okay, well, we agree with George Washington's precedent that we shouldn't have a president for too long because power is corrupting. So here's, you can only run for 2 terms as president. But then, no one's ever looked at Congress. Hey, y'all, you say that about the president, but y'all been here for 50 years. Don't you think we need to say that about Congress? And all of a sudden, all the Congress people are like, no, there's not many people to rule. What? I've heard that argument come at me in Mississippi. So,
well, let me tell you something about Congress, people. The people that are in Congress don't do anything.
No.
And they don't listen to anything you say. So thinking that other people can't come up and do a better job is the absolute worst way to think about it.
I've had someone in the Mississippi House of Representatives, someone who is a close friend of mine, and I've seen him slowly change and become a bit more liberal in that regard. And me and him were having a conversation one day. And I was talking about, the show, getting more involved, wanting to do more. And he was like, it's a good thing. And, I brought up term limits because if this is a shocker to you, you haven't been listening to the show long. When I was, a part of Chris McDaniel's campaign for lieutenant governor, something he ran on that really resonated with me was, he wanted to pass an amendment that would restrict people in the amount of terms they serve in the Senate and the House, because the lieutenant governor has it, the governor has it, the president has it. Why don't we have it in our Congresses? And I brought it up to him, and he looked at me. And this sounds awful, but at first I thought he was joking. And he says, well, I don't know if we have that many people that will want to lead in Mississippi. And he said it in a way that I almost believed it, Graves. Me and him talked about it for about 30 minutes. And I walked out of that meeting, out of his place of business, and sat there and, in my truck for a second. I was like, yeah, he might have a point. Then I thought to myself, wait a minute. What? Even in Mississippi, people are scared of it. So you look at the national level where these people are raking in millions. And they're scared of term limits because that means into their power. You look at the turtle, the mighty turtle. The reason I'm bringing him up is actually I did pull up our shop and I forgot that we have a Make Conservatives Great Again shirt with him on it. And the back says no more rhinos. I completely forgot about that shirt. Go please buy that shirt.
I need to.
It's $24. It's a bit pricey, but that kind of covers shipping. Yeah. But it's funny that he's been in what? He's been the majority or minority leader for the Republican Party for how long? Like 30 years? And I think we did an episode where I figured out that he went into office the same time as Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan was in his presidency in the 80s, people. Me and Grace weren't even a thought in our parents' mind in the 80s. My father was in his 10, 11, 12 when Reagan went into office.
When Reagan was first elected, my mother was not even born.
So, in your case, 2 generations has passed since Reagan was elected, and he's still there, looking like a man that should be enjoying his retirement. I've never understood that. I want to retire by 62, and I'm a history nerd. I want to tour the historical sites of this great country.
Well, him and Joe Biden just need to be doing bingo every night.
Him and Joe Biden both need to be put in a nursing home. They've missed the retirement stage. Nursing
home not bingo.
Yeah, they're crap. But again, he's been in there so long, you can make the argument that he's missed the fact that he could even enjoy his own retirement, and now he needs to be put into a nursing home.
Oh, dude, yeah.
And that's a sad thing that we're all going to face that, our own mortality. That's why I'm a believer, but it's not going to change the fact in my 70s and 80s, I'm more likely going to be sitting in a nursing home being like, why am I here? That's the sad truth of aging. But that's why most people retire in their 60s or their 70s to enjoy a couple dead gum years of their life before they get to that point. And here is a lot of our representatives, and I would say a good portion of them, that are at retirement age. And instead of wanting to be like, I want to focus on my family, I want to have a good time, I want to go do stuff I've never done because of work or because of this responsibility, because in my point, it is a privilege to serve. It is a massive responsibility. Let me rephrase that. Massive responsibility to serve in our government at any level. But at the same time, you have to know when to walk away. And you have a lot of people, younger men in their 30s, that are wanting to serve. And in Mississippi, I think it's in our 20s that you can serve. And it blows my mind that these people in their 70s are like, no, I need to stay here. No, you don't, big dog. You should have already been bowing out. But no,
y'all were calling TikTok Tic Tac when it first came out. Why are y'all still serving the American people?
When you look like a snapping turtle, it's time to step aside.
We have had people die in Congress recently more than I never heard of that really until at least of age, on 90 something.
Yeah, no, we had a couple people who were in nursing homes that would still serve in Congress. And I mean, most people don't realize, a long time ago, that was a bit more of the norm. But that was kind of in the founding age where, a lot of our heroes were young when the Revolutionary War broke out. But by the time it was to start a government and then to start the new government, people don't realize this. We actually have had 2 types of governments here in the United States. We had under the Articles of Confederation and then the Constitution. Right. Which is funny because we're celebrating the Declaration when the country. Well, okay, I'm not going to get into that. I'm still celebrating the 250th, but it is a bit weird because the country technically wasn't formed until a decade later. But
1789. Is that
the year that was the year the Constitution was ratified. Yes, and so that's the year that this government started. So it's a bit weird to sit back and think, okay, then why are we doing the Declaration? Because during the Declaration, we were all independent and sovereign states. We weren't a country. We were people that came together to fight. Okay. But, that was more common back then.
People, give him some credit.
Give me some credit. I'm going to do a historical nerd rant on at least one show every other month. But, you had that more frequently back then. But that was also because it was you didn't have the medical technology we have today. So people dying in office was as much as a shock sometimes, because some people could live a long life, some people couldn't. I remember while I'm not the biggest fan of his, John Quincy Adams served as president and then decided after he lost that, he still had something to give to the public. So he ran for Congress, won, and I'm pretty sure he died in Congress. I think he's the only president that after the presidential term was over, he actually went back into public service. I think we might have had one more that served as a Supreme Court member. I might be wrong, but that's kind of the rarity here. But that was back when, that was back when the country was at its infancy, though, where these people played a massive role in the government for so long that, it would have been weird. But in today's age, with how much population we have grown since then, you can't tell me that there's not someone suitable to replace you. And you have to draw a line, because some people are different than others. I mean, I look at Donald Trump. Donald Trump is in his grave 70s, if I'm not mistaken.
He's almost 80.
Yeah. But he still has some stuff to give. He wasn't in government, since his 20s. He hasn't been serving.
Well, he would have already been out if y'all didn't whatever happened in 2020 is how I'll put it. He would have already been out. You wouldn't be dealing with him anymore.
You stole the election. Hi, YouTube. I can't wait for that notification. I'm
glad you did it for me.
You helped me out a couple episodes ago, so I'll help you out here. But, Trump is one of those rare cases. It's rare for a public. It should be rare for a public official that in his early year or in his late years to still be involved. It should be a rarity. It shouldn't be the common. And I'll stand by that.
The thing with Trump is he never ran for office till he was in his 70s.
Yeah, he did it differently. And these people have been in for 50 years and the government's still crap. Now, if you were making some positive changes still, and you still were not losing your mind, sad truth, but I mean, again, look at Joe, then maybe there's a case. It depends on what you're doing, I think. But you look at these people, they haven't done anything. They've held on to power to feel important, to fill a hole in their heart, whatever. And they haven't done anything. Pelosi is a great example. The snapping turtle, as I'm going to call him, is a great example, because those two have not contributed a lot to the government. They haven't done big things. The only big thing they've done is put us more into debt and destroy our liberties. That's the only thing that they've accomplished in their term as representatives. And so you have to sit back.
For one liberal, just one, to tell me what Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries, Kamala Harris, Tim Walz, tell me one thing they have done that makes America or your life better.
I've never heard anything. Go to the homepage on the Conservative Colonel website. You can scroll down to good old George Washington, and you can email us that response. Because I don't honestly think they'll have anything. You look at a lot of people who were older serving, and you can list a lot of accomplishments. Like, even though I don't agree with John Quincy Adams on a lot of stuff, when he went back to be a House of Representative member, he stood up for his party. He was a major voice. He contributed a lot to the government. He was trying to do his viewpoint, but he also wasn't obviously losing his touch. He wasn't sitting there. Mm-hmm. You know the thing.
Talking about God.
Yeah. One nation under, the thing. He wasn't obviously losing a step. And I honestly think, even though I probably pretty much almost 100% disagree with John Quincy Adams, I think if he would have realized that he was losing a step, he would have stepped back. That was kind of more of the viewpoint of the time, that either the people would let you know or you would know. And the sad thing is these people hold this power, the power of an incumbent, and they use it to make sure they crush any defeat. And I mean, you look back at it then, though. Graves, do you think we had only two major parties back then?
No, I wouldn't. I would say no. There was
It
so
wa-
much turnover.
there was a lot of turnover in the two big parties. They had subgroups, you had other groups. So there was a lot more turnover back then because the party didn't
Really,
use
we've
its
had the
power.
two-party system since the Civil War.
Yes. And we've been stuck with it ever since. And I 100% disagree with it. I wish that a new party would
So did my
arise.
hero, George Washington.
Yeah, George Washington absolutely hated the idea of a two-party system. And it's funny that, you look through American history and George Washington is the only president that didn't have a political party attached to him. And as soon as he got out of office, you always had just two main players. You had other groups for a long time, but it was more of kind of like how I've described me and Graves' political thing. Graves is a Washington conservative. I'm a Jeffersonian conservative, but we both are in the same party. But there's a lot of stuff that me and him will disagree on. And, if I win,
It wasn't like it is now.
yeah, it's not where it is now, where the political party almost bullies people outside the party to make sure they never win, or they bully people inside the party to get in line. You look at Mitch McConnell, and as the leader of the Republican Party in the Senate, what has he done that I can give him a lot of credit for? And that is bullying other Republicans to agree with him, or he would not help them in their election, causing them to lose.
He was a big force in elections.
Yeah, and that's how he wanted to play the game. So I think that's one reason why we need to get rid of these people of older age. I'm not saying an amendment needs to be passed, but I'm saying amendment on term limits need to be passed because that would solve this. You can't serve 50 years if you can only serve 15 or 20.
Right.
And I'll stand by that.
With term limits, you can still run for the other type of office, but you also have term limits there. You can't just stay in the same seat for 50, 60 years.
Yeah, no, that's why I know, because some people are like, well, it will run out of people. I'm like, no, you can switch to the House. You can switch to the Senate. You can run for a higher office. You can run for a lower office. You could still serve your whole life as being a public servant, which that is what it's supposed to be. It's a public service. But you couldn't, there's a better chance that you're not going to get absorbed into this power structure. And, of course, corruption. I could talk about a couple other things, but I think let's take a quick commercial break because Spreaker is about to be mad at me. I should have taken one already. But we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we're going to kind of jump back into the government shutdown because me and Graves, who we are, it seems like we have gotten a bit off topic. But I do think this actually does play to the topic of why our government is shutting down. But,
yeah, I think I can tie that in there too.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll be right back after this break. Welcome back to the Conservative Colonel podcast. And me and Graves were just talking about some of the things we've noticed recently. They've blamed Charlie Kirk's assassination on the Republican Party, or on conservatives. They are blaming the government shutdown because, again, Benny Thompson, just a great representative from here in Mississippi. I hope you can tell my sarcasm. And, he posted this picture, and we talked about this a bit earlier, but I think he's in the House, if I'm not mistaken. And, there's just no Republicans there to pass this stupidity of a fight. They're not even dealing with it. And he's like, look at these people. The Democratic Party cares about the working class people. We care about the common man. And the Republicans don't because they're not here and they're letting you suffer. Well, Benny, maybe if you actually cared about the citizens of this country, they would be there. But you're not even like this whole fight is not about the common man. It's not about the people. It's not about the people this government shutdown will hurt. I wish the government was smaller to the point where if the federal government shut down, we could all be like, "Oh, I didn't even notice." I would love for that. That's my dream in life. But the sad truth is, right now, our federal government's too big, and yes, it is going to hurt people. But they're not caring about the people. They're caring about trying to fight the Doge cuts. They're caring about trying to pay a couple trillion, just a couple, to illegal immigrants. And you're sitting here and you're like, but these people aren't even citizens of this country. The Doge cuts, we have to cut something. We're not all going to agree on what needs to be cut, but we have found a lot of money that's just been stupidly used. Like, the sad truth is like at some point with the Doge cuts, we're going to get to something that we're like, man, I really don't want to see that go, but it needs to go because we don't have the money to pay for it. But right now, Doge, only thing they've done has been like, hey, y'all paid a couple million for what was it, a dolphin sex study?
No, fish sex.
Fish sex. We've spent a couple million on learning how fish have sex, and they're mad about stuff like that. Like we talked about, of course, in our Department of Education video, the amount of government waste going to the Department of Education. And in an interview, someone at the Department of Education even said that they're using private corrupted message. Corrupted. I'm not saying the word right, but they're using. Thank you. They're using encrypted messages to hide stuff from Doge and Congress because they're sending money to illegal immigrants. I believe that even on our TikTok. Go check out our TikTok. But they're still not using the crap ton of money that they shouldn't be getting, even for education. And you think it's just going on in one of these departments? No, it's going on at all of them. So you think, okay, well, maybe we should cut some budgets. Let's maybe make a tighter budget because it's not like we've had a couple of amendments that. I think one amendment that would have required Congress to balance the budget, which, oh my gosh, Graves, could you imagine the craziness that would ensue? I'm for the amendment, obviously, but could you imagine? Because I think like the amendment stated, like if these people couldn't come to an agreement by like 2 or 3 years on a balanced budget, they would just be kicked out of office. So, the joy. But also there was a bill passed because I talked about this in the Senator Roger Wicker video that he could have voted on. He didn't. That would have, and this comes from Ron Paul, I believe. It was his bill. It would have balanced the budget by today. We would not be in debt anymore, Graves. Could you imagine that? We would be out of debt. We'd be debt free as a country by this year. This was around the first time Roger Wicker was in office, so this also tells you how long Roger Wicker was in office. We could have had a balanced budget, but we don't. And now the government shutdown is not about the people. It's about spending more money because money gets us votes. Money gets us sympathy. If you want to vote, here's a couple $1,000s a month. Make sure you.
Okay. Well, I've got a little rant to go on here then about that.
Ooh,
so
perfect.
Democrats, what are they talking about all the time? About how we're fascists, how we're Nazis, and they're blaming us for the Charlie Kirk thing. They're blaming us for the ABC shooting. They're blaming us for the Fox bombing thing. There was a bomb that they had to explode at the same university that Charlie Kirk was shot at. They blew up a bomb on campus 2 days ago with the demolition team. But still, like all these threats that's coming from your side, and you're going to sit here and act like we're the problem when we did our job to keep the government open, but y'all couldn't get 8 people to vote to keep the government open because you want to spend money on illegal immigrants. You don't care about American citizens. Your people are sitting here talking about how they're happy people are getting killed. And I saw something today. Somebody infiltrated at the Ryder Cup pretending to be a police officer, and they only got found out because they apparently dropped one of their magazines. And somebody in the comments said, because he was right next to Trump, said, wish he didn't drop that mag. They are wishing death on people. They are trying to fund illegal people. They do not care about you. So when they tell you on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook or YouTube or the news,
the
wherever
knockoff.
you see them talking, yeah, Blue Sky, whatever it is, where they just talk about how they want to kill people. They are not being serious when they tell you that they care about American people and we don't.
And it goes to just how brainwashed our civilization has become. Like, you think about it, what is the heart of the Constitution? The Constitution is a set of rules that we made to make sure the government would never get too powerful. It was a compromise between, funny enough, the Jeffersonians of the time with, I wouldn't even say liberals, more people that wanted a bit stronger federal government. You had some liberals in there. You did have some Washingtons in there that just thought the government needed to be a bit bigger.
And none of them thought that it should be as big as it is now.
No, well, there was one or two, but they weren't Republicans. They don't worry, they were liberal graves. That's not in our history. we can point back. Oh yeah, they were liberal. Don't worry. But they pointed to this, and my forefathers that founded the conservative movement, ironically called the Anti-Federalists. They said, okay, we'll compromise because we believe in the fact that the people will keep the government accountable, because these are the same people that fought in the revolution for their freedom. We had strong belief that the people would keep the government intact. The reason Anti-Federalists is ironic is because they're actually Federalists and the Federalists are Anti-Federalists, but that's a quick history lesson for you. But again, we had the belief that people would prevail. And then you look at the brainwashing. And our government the liberals that have put themselves in strong positions of government or authority, have been brainwashing the people to be okay with the fact that the Democrats should be the only people that run the country. And now you see the fact that anything the Democratic Party tells their people, they believe. I bet the Republicans wish they had it that easy. You could have a Republican come out and tell you something, and the Republican Party will still be like, I don't know if this is true. Let us do some research.
And there's a former member of ISIS that was interviewed by I can't remember, Indian guy, conservative.
Oh gosh, I know who you're talking about.
He's got a big following, but I can see his face. I can't think of his name. But he interviewed this guy who, he's still Muslim, but he's not an extremist anymore. And he was like, I voted for the left when I was an extremist because we want you to go kill your kids. We want you to go out there and tell people you can change genders. Yeah, go focus on all that stuff. The conservatives come with principle. So we never voted for them because they were the ones we were scared of. The liberals, we wanted them to go do that because they distract. We can do what we want to do as extremists.
Yeah.
I mean, do you really want to be part of that side?
And that begs the question, again, the brainwashing that's come, that people can believe what they're saying about the government shutdown without even thinking. Meanwhile, Republicans will spend, 16 hours doing research to make sure the person that we voted for, the person that we trust, is telling the truth.
Isn't lying.
Yeah, isn't lying. Like, even people that we hold in high regard, we want to double check. Like, I remember, and I wish I could remember what it was about, but Trump said something. I did the research. I have voted for Trump 3 dadgum times. Well, actually twice. I wasn't able to vote in 2016, but I would have voted for him in 2016.
Dude, you know what's sad? I wasn't able to vote in 2024 for him, but I made up for it with what I did on his campaign. So it's okay.
Yeah. Hey, Graves won a whole state for Trump. And I think we've talked about that on the show. Please go check out that episode, by the way. Graves deserves his flowers
That's a
for
good
that.
one.
Yeah, it's a good one, too. But not just because Graves is getting his flowers, but because he did do a lot of hard work. And that was one of the funnest episodes we've ever recorded. But even with someone I trust like Donald Trump, I'm still doing the research. That's just the heart of conservatism is you don't trust people in government, even if they're trustworthy. Because we're the people that have to double check. We are the people that have to make sure, okay, this is the right
Nobody
path.
else is in Washington. No one will do it.
No, it's crazy. And you look at us and we're questioning, probably the I would say definitely the leader of the conservative party right now, which is Donald Trump. We'll openly be like, well, I don't know yet. Let me do some research on what Trump said. And then after we figure out, yes, Trump is telling the truth. Okay, well, no, he's doing a great job. He's doing what he needs to do. I can't tell you how many times someone has been like, oh, you just question Trump, whatever he does is right. I'm like, no, I've had disagreements with the man, but I've always based it on research and principle. And 9 times out of 10, I'm agreeing with Trump. Okay, yeah, good job. I've never regretted my vote for Donald Trump because Donald Trump is honest. There's not a lot of hard research you're going to have to go into. You can find the facts.
You could say he lies, but that man ain't sitting there thinking, "How do I lie about this?" He's saying whatever the heck is on his mind, whenever it's
whatever it is.
He doesn't care. Like we said on the last episode, when the UN cut off his escalator, as soon as he got on it, he was mad. He got up there, they turned off his teleprompter. So instead of his 15-minute speech for 55 minutes, he talked crap to the UN.
And honestly, that's why a lot of conservatives like Trump. You don't have to do a lot of research. We still do. But like Trump just says what's on his mind. It's the easiest thing for a conservative. We love people like that. We love people that aren't politically correct because guess what? It makes life easier on us. But when you look at a Democrat, oh my gosh, I have to spend days researching them. I have to spend, hours because it's so many lies on top of lies. We talked about the Roger.
All you find is them.
Episode.
All you find is Democrats contradicting themselves.
Oh, it's one of my favorite pastimes. Like for instance, Obama being, against illegal immigration,
and gay marriage.
It's one of the funniest things to see liberals be like, no, I've always been for that. They don't even say, I've changed my mind. No, I've always been for that. I just couldn't I felt like I couldn't express myself in today's world.
Biden is like one of the most racist people to ever be in the Senate. And people are like, well, people change just so they could vote blue no matter who.
Yeah, people change, but I can't. I'm not going to get on that. But I can't admire George Washington or Thomas Jefferson because they were victims of their time.
Yeah, because freaking 3% of white people own slaves. Oh, yeah. No.
Oh, no. Well, heck, how many people have killed babies since abortion's been legalized?
Oh, there's like millions a year.
Yeah. Millions of kids are killed a year, and people cheer for it, just like people cheered for slavery. I'm going to that one's my canceled moment for this episode. Let me take a quick bow. But again, it's political brainwashing that they could sit there and make people believe that this is a good thing. And yeah, we're all victim of our times. Graves, in 100 years, we're probably going to be heavily criticized for the abortion issue either which way. Whatever side wins, when that time comes when there's going to be a definite stop, either
I can't believe people believed in that.
Yeah, I can't believe people thought it was okay to kill babies, or I can't believe people thought, they could crush a constitutional right. That's coming. And
I've been saying it's not a constitutional right.
No, not in the Constitution. I'm for an amendment to just outright ban it. Hey, let's
one thing I lean more with you though I lean more like toward you in the sense of like Jeffersonian in the sense of strict reading of the Constitution.
No, like for so many years, I've heard the term, it's a living document. It can mean what you need it to mean. The older I've gotten, no. Black and white. These are the answers to our questions. Can the government do this? Article 10 of the Bill of Rights says no. Any power delegated to the federal government is in this document.
Not
If
delegated
it's not
to
delegated,
the states.
oh yeah, every power not delegated to the states in this document is the power of the federal government. But every power not said in this document, like abortion, is the power of the states to govern. Because even then, the founding fathers knew if the government got too big, you could look back at the state government that has a lot better representation ratio and be like, all right, they should be the ones making the decisions. And that's how major decisions were supposed to be made. You know, heck, you look at it, immigration's not even a federal topic. It should be up to the state. If Texas wants to build a giant wall, we should all go out there with some tools. If California doesn't, great. But guess what? They step foot out of California. Bye-bye. If you disagree with that, you know what you're supposed to do, Graves? A constitutional amendment. If you disagree that the federal government should have this power, there's no bill you can pass, no committee you can make that says, okay, the government has this power. No, it is supposed to be an amendment. So I'll stand by that till the day I die. If you want the federal government to have a power, pass an amendment. It has to be passed by not just the federal government, by the way. It has to be passed by all the states. So the states also have to be in agreement, a.k.a. the people have to be in agreement.
2/3.
2/3. And in our country, it'd be hard to get. That's why they don't pass amendments anymore. They just try to make it, say that they can do it. No, they try to look for some special wording. Shall not be infringed. But again, you look at what's happening today. Go ahead.
That's kind of what I was going to get to. Is like, people want to do things now on the left that are not in the Constitution. And because they can't get the way that they want, they resort to violence, saying that we are, again, I'll say it, I know I say it a lot. They call us fascists and Nazis. And yet here they are trying to do stuff that's not in the Constitution constantly and take out and jail their political opponents. I don't want to hear anything about the fact that James Comey was just indicted. I don't care. You raided Trump's house, his son's bedroom. You put him in jail. You shot at him. You tried to kill him another time. You indicted all his friends, sent multiple of them to jail. Like, I don't want to hear anything about that. What y'all are doing is not constitutional.
No, but it's all for saving democracy, Graves. That's what they tell us. It's all for saving
we can violate the Constitution just to save democracy, right? Even though we're a constitutional republic.
And the sad truth is, in this country, you can look at a lot of people that broke the Constitution saying that they were saving the Constitution, and all that happened was this government got stronger and the free will of the people got smaller. The philosophy of a conservative is we want you to be happy economic-wise, and we want you to be free and to make your own decisions.
We want to tax you less.
We want to tax you less. We want you to be able to make so much money in this country. You're not upholded to the government, to an institution, to anything but your free will. Your decision makes this. That is the ideal that binds conservatives together, is the fact.
Nobody is a victim in America unless you put yourself in that situation or somebody commits violence against you. That is it. Nobody's oppressed.
No, we live in one of the greatest countries in the world, and there's ways we can make it even better. And that was what blows people's mind. We're honestly, we're still the greatest country in the world, and we're on a downturn. Like, you look at how powerful our federal government is, but if we get back to how we used to govern, It's been a while. It's definitely been a while. It's pre-Civil War, so it's been over 150 years since we governed this way. There's been a lot of people that try to fight it. You look at Ronald Reagan, you look at Trump, that tried to bring us back to that. And usually for a couple of years, they do a great job. That's why I've always said we need to help Trump to make sure that this isn't just another couple years. I want
Because
us
the
to see
people in Washington they're going to fight it. They
Yeah,
don't
well, I
want
mean,
that changed.
look what happened when Trump, as soon as Trump got out of office, look what happened as soon as Ronald Reagan got out of office. It was like business as normal. Okay, we had 4 years here. Okay, we had 8 years here where the will of the people actually governed the government. But oh no, we can't live like that because corruption can't flourish like that. We can't get paid. Let's bring us back to the swamp. And that's why I keep begging people to get involved in your government. Get involved in the federal level. Get involved in the state. Get involved with the local. Because if you get the local and state strong, then you can get the federal government under control. And then we can get back to how this country is supposed to be ran. That's why we bet. Like, I can't tell you, Graves, how many episodes we've sat back and said, we have to help Trump. I'm honestly, like, it's at least been more, it's in the double digits. And the reason we stress on that is this case right here. The government shut down right now, and the liberals are saying it's our fault, as normal, because they want to fund illegal immigrants. They want to get rid of the Doge cuts. They want to stop this because they don't even want to give us 4 years of Trump because they know that we'll like it.
Mm-hmm.
But they're fighting tooth and nail to save the establishment. That's why we need to fight. Again, Trump can't do this alone. I've been saying that from the beginning. He's just one man. He's doing a great job. God bless him. He's fighting his tail off. If anybody deserves a political retirement, it is Donald Trump. Donald Trump deserved it after 4 years his first term. I felt so bad for that man on a daily basis. I still feel bad for that man. But it
was even worse then.
Oh gosh, and they've just kind of added on to the hate. But yeah, those first from 16 to 20, my gosh, poor Trump deserved to go golf, man. Let that man have his retirement. Let him spend some time with his grandkids. Gosh almighty, I felt bad for him. But even then, when he decided to come back, and I sat there and I was like, this man already did his part with just one term. And he's wanting to serve the people and finish out what he thought would be, an 8-year presidency. And I don't blame Trump for that. Grover Cleveland did that. And I respect Grover Cleveland because Grover Cleveland basically got begged. It kind of is the same thing as Trump, really, if you look at it. Trump, I think a part of him knew he wanted to do it, but it was when he saw the country take the direction it did, I think really cemented the fact that Trump was like, okay, I'm running again. Grover Cleveland ran the first time to get rid of corruption. He got beat. And then the corruption got so bad that they begged Grover Cleveland to come back. And then Grover Cleveland came back with a depression. God bless the man. He couldn't really do much. Luckily, we were able to avoid that this time. But, God,
it was so close. We did go into a recession, though. I don't care what any Democrat says. We had a recession between 21 and 23. It was awful.
Oh, gosh, it was.
Dude, the consumer price index, which nobody ever wants to talk about because everybody's like, inflation, year-over-year inflation. Yeah, that's a decent indicator, but look at the consumer price index. It was higher than Jimmy Carter.
That really should tell people something.
Yes.
Oh gosh. Yeah, and like no one batted an eye. No, everything's fine. Everything's on fire. It's that meme with the dog sitting in the fire. Everything's fine. That was the Democrats.
Or just the picture of CNN with the headline in front of the fire. Mostly peaceful. It's a mostly slow recession or something. Yeah, I don't know.
Mostly slow recession, mostly peaceful. I'm never going to forget the mostly peaceful protest articles that came out. And it showed a destroyed city. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that seems peaceful. But, yeah, no, the government, the Democrats are just all they're doing is trying to fit their agenda. And I'm begging you to please call your representatives and call them on it. Be like, please don't pass this. The Democrats will try to play this off as it's hurting American citizens for a while, but if we pass this, they're just going to do it again and again and again
that's
until
why
they get their way.
Because this would be the first time that we take it out since it first happened.
Yeah. We would undo the Doge cuts, would give a couple trillion to some illegal immigrants, and I'm sure there's much more that they're hiding, because for those who don't know, when these type of stuff gets passed, it's like 1,000 pages. No one reads that crap.
No.
They hide stuff in there. That's why I like the idea of the fact that we should vote on everything one at a time. It would take forever, but you couldn't sneak anything in.
Well, maybe if Congress was willing to do their job, then every single day they could vote on something.
Yeah. I mean, they meet for what, half the dead gum year? It's like, what, January to like July? And then they go home.
And if they have to have a, special, whatever the, term is, but.
Yeah, if they have to have a special session, yeah. They get to come back, and, I'll state to this to the day I die, but I love when they come home and they just stay in their mansions. Good for y'all. Y'all keep making millions off the American people's back. Oh gosh, my blood pressure. I can feel it. Because it pisses me off that they're getting away with this. And that's why we want people to share this episode. We've talked about a good bit during this episode, but I don't want people to forget that the heart of this one, the heart of this episode, is the fact that the liberals are trying to hold the American people hostage to get what they want.
Mm-hmm.
That's
not even
all
trying. They did it.
Yeah, they're not even trying. They're doing it right now. They're holding the American people hostage. They're not letting us, okay, well, let's find a way to get these people to where they're self-sustaining. Again, the conservative idea. Self-sustaining, so they're not looking towards us for anything.
Yeah.
Isn't it funny,
they say that we should...
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, we keep trying... but they keep saying that we should negotiate with them. We should try to get a bipartisan agreement going. Brother, y'all are the ones that are saying, give us another $1.5 trillion for people that aren't citizens.
Can someone point out how stupid it is to be like, yeah, reach across the aisle? And I've talked about this on the show before, and I will until I'm dead. How many times has the Democrats been like, hey, you're not compromising, but it's the Democrats getting all what they want, and the Republicans just backing down? I'm hoping that we stand our ground. I wouldn't care if the government stayed shut down for another 2 months. Do it, because I'm sick and tired of y'all holding us hostage to get what you want. They've done it time and time again. Not necessarily in this format. They've done it multiple ways. They have found ways to hold the American people hostage to get what they want from the Republicans. And I'm about sick of it. Okay, fine. You want to do this? You want to hurt us more? You want to undo everything we've done? Fine. We're not compromising on that. You want to compromise? How about this? No money for illegal immigrants. None of the Doge cuts get undone. And, none of else the stuff you want. That's our compromise. Because I'm sick of us compromising. Because even when we compromise for Republican beliefs, when the Democrats have the majority, Graves, what happens? The Democrats just say no. They don't want to compromise. We don't win.
Exactly.
The Democrats.
And the problem is, our people will vote for it, though. They'll be like, all right, just to get it over with.
Yeah, let's get this over with. Let's go ahead and vote. And I'm sitting here like, I'm sick of us having the majority and us not winning, and then them having the majority and us not winning. Like, people are like, you're against compromise. No, I'm against compromise. It's obviously not a compromise. A compromise is both sides lose something. This is the liberals gain everything every single deadgum time. And I'm sick of it. I'm sick of us having to reach across the aisle for a government that is okay, but let's continue to move to the left. Let's continue to move to the left. That's all we've done for the past 20 to 30 years is move to the left. I'm sick of moving to the left. Maybe y'all should move to the right. You got me pissed, Grace. Got me fired up again. But yeah, is there anything else you want to kind of say on the shutdown, Graves?
Well, no, my headset's about to die, but other than that, just want to say that, everything we said in this, it's backed up. I'll say that a lot, almost on every episode. But it's backed up with stuff we've seen. We're talking about things that we have researched, we've seen. So, again, I will ask people to please see what this other side is. Because we are really getting sick and tired of seeing these people keep brainwashing people. Don't get brainwashed. If you're already brainwashed, please unbrainwash yourself. Because this is getting ridiculous.
Just, as I said, just look up. Conservatively. You don't have to agree with the people that represent us because me and Graves have talked about it. There's rhinos everywhere. We don't agree with them. We agree with the conservative thought, the conscience of a conservative, that we want people to be free. We want to max out your liberties, your freedoms. We want the government to stay out of our lives, and we want people to flourish in this country. That's the basic principles of a conservative. Limited government, good economics for everybody, and no one being limited to the institution or the government. Nothing in this world can hold you back in America. That's the belief here. That if you work hard, you can be successful. The American dream, and we want people from the people that are janitors, people that are trash collectors, the common working man, the blue collar man, to have the ability to be as successful, to live a good life as anybody who's making, I'm going to poke some fun at Elon. Like, what was it? Like $500 trillion. Wow. But, we want y'all to have the access to live the best life. We want everybody to be free, healthy, happy. That's it. And the Democrats think that if you just give the money away, that's what solves that. No, you're making people dependent on the government. What happens if the government runs out of money? Like right now. Oh, well, we'll just print more.
And I'm sorry, people, not everyone's equal. If we were to distribute every single bit of money in America equally across everyone, you might say, oh, we'd have a lot of money. You know how much bad things would happen with that? Like, people are not equal. We are equal in our rights.
Yes.
We are not equal in our decision making and our intellectual ability. Like, that's just reality. So if you give everything an equal payout to everybody, like socialism, communism, not only does anarchy start and you have a massive government that could take every single one of your rights away, but it's just not fair.
No, it's not.
Being equal in money is not fair.
Why should a doctor that's 8 years in school who saves people's lives make as much as someone? I'm going to point some fun at me. I used to be a DoorDash driver. I used to deliver food. Why should I make as much as the deadgum doctor? Doesn't make sense.
Saving someone's life. Yeah.
Yeah. That's just the harsh reality that people don't want to deal with. Is just that's the truth, though, and that's all we're trying to sell to you today is the truth. And we hope that you join us in the truth. It's a lot more comforting than you think. You never have to worry about nothing when you know the truth. Thank y'all.
And you won't have to worry about the people. I'm sorry, but
no, go ahead.
You won't have to worry about the people that if you leave their party, you know what side I'm talking about. They demean you, they crap on you, they call you all types of names. You won't have to deal with those people anymore. Come to our side. I'm telling you, it's a lot nicer over here. We're not mad all the time.
No. We can have disagreements over here.
Yeah, civilly.
Civilly. We'll still go out to eat with you afterwards. We'll still go to
Dude,
each other's
You
weddings.
should
Our
hear some of
Thanksgiving.
the debates I have with one of my friends, man. Like we really get into it, and we still drink a beer.
Yeah, that's just because we live in a society of free thought. You can't have freedom of expression without the risk of offending people. So you get used to the fact that, okay, well, this might piss me off, but he's still a good man. He's still a good person. I still am friends with him. Again,
Right.
me and Graves will have, disagreements from time to time. Graves still comes on the Dead Gum Show. Graves hasn't just, no. Graves is still coming on the show. Me and Graves are hopefully going to try to get a beer at some point, if our schedules will allow it and my bank account will allow it. I might have to get the cheapest thing they have on tap, but that's
I feel you.
freedom of expression. Yeah. But please share this episode out and let's get this truth out today. Please leave a 5-star review and check out conservativekernel.com. Check out our store because, Graves name dropped it, and I guess I've kind of forgotten we have a store. We have hoodies, T-shirts with the Conservative Colonel logo on it, and we have Make Conservatives Great Again with Mitch McConnell on front with the Obama 2008 color scheme. The change, or what was it? Hope or change, something.
The hope, yeah.
Hope, yeah. I put that with Mitch McConnell with Make Conservatives Great Again below it, and on the back of these shirts and hoodies, it says "No More Rhinos." So please go check those out. Anything would be appreciated. And without any further ado, God bless America and God bless Mississippi.